Welcome back to the Hospitality Hacks Pro Show. I'm your host, Tasha Jackson, bringing you tips, tricks, and tidbits to help your operation run just a little bit smoother. Here's what I was thinking about last week, guys. Last week, I was thinking about this. I was listening to a podcast with Nehemiah Davis, and he had on a guest, Joshua Crisp, I believe was his name, and he said a quote that really stood out to me and had me thinking, had me going for at least a day. I was thinking about this, but what he shared was that complexity is the thief to completion. Complexity is the thief to completion. And now y'all know me. I was like, is this an original quote? Is this his thinking? Did it come from somewhere else? I Googled it. I thought about it, really chewed on it a bit. And I found a similar quote by Tony Robbins. It's in that same vein, right? That says complexity is the enemy of execution. So that got me thinking even more because oftentimes, and this is just for us, those of us who overcomplicate things. All right, if that's not you, this conversation really it might not be for you, but it might help a friend or family member, right? Or it might be you at some point in the future. But we overcomplicate things. We have an idea, maybe we have a project we want to work on, we have a business idea, we have something going, and we allow ourselves sometimes to get bogged down by trying to figure out every single little nuance before we start, before we get started. And that's troublesome because oftentimes when we do that, we overthink, we overcomplicate, and we get analysis paralysis. We never start, we never do anything out of this fear, out of this need to have every single step already mapped out, have every single possible variable already thought about. And instead of just getting going. All right. And so, in the spirit of that, I'm going to take my own advice. And my advice is just start. Okay. Don't wait until you have every single thing figured out. Begin. Begin with the end in mind, thinking about where you want to end up, but you don't have to necessarily have every step completely thought out and completely figured out before you take the first step. All right. So, in the spirit of that, I'm going to share with you a framework that I'm working on. It is not complete. This framework is not complete. It's been in this is actually my 2021 2022 content notebook. This is how old this idea is, and it's in the back. All right, so I think it started bleeding into probably the first part of 2023, um, but it's not complete. And yet, I'm going to share it because that's what I'm advising you all to do. And I can't give advice that I'm not willing to take. Would you agree? I can't give advice that I'm not willing to take. So, this is a food truck quick start guide. This is an operating system, um, a frame of thought, a frame of reference for those who want to begin a mobile food service business. Now, um, you ever heard that saying? It's another saying. I know we started off with a quote, but it's a saying, and I don't know who said this one, but you got to pay the costs to be the boss. Have you heard that before? You have to pay the costs to be the boss. And that's where the idea of this framework came from. Um, it's an acronym. We love a good acronym in food service. There's lots of them. But the acronym is COSTS, COSTS, right? COSTS. And this is something I'm going to continue to build on, potentially be the basis of my next book. And again, I'm sharing it with you incomplete and for free, right? Right now, just to get it out there. Y'all know that we all have different learning styles, right? And there's different ways to learn, right? And you may prefer one or two over another, but being able to communicate something and teach something to someone else, instruct someone on something, helps you learn. Also, saying things out loud, right? Verbally hearing things and saying things in addition to writing them down, all different learning styles, right? And so I'm taking this opportunity to think through this idea. So if you have any feedback or questions related to what I'm about to share with you, please don't hesitate to share or to ask. All right. So C, this is the cost framework. C, first thing to do, right? This is the quick start guide. First thing to do, figure out if you need a commissary kitchen in your state or your county, your area, whatever, wherever you are, your district. Do you need a commissary kitchen? A commissary, if you're not aware, is some place where you can store food. Um, you can store your unit, right? Whether that be a food cart, truck, trailer, whatever the case. You can dump waste, right? Things of that nature. Anybody, any entity, any space that has been uh, regulated by the health department, inspected, and is a certified kitchen in that way can serve as a commissary. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a place that just calls itself a commissary kitchen. It could be a church, it could be a school, right? It could be a warehouse that's been converted and it has all the necessary things that your health department says that you need in order to safely serve food and store food. Okay. And that can vary. So I'm not going to go into the nuances of what they're looking for in a commissary because it could be very different depending on where you are. Some basic things though that just about everyone has, right? Certain number of hand wash sinks, certain things you need at a hand wash sink, supplies, paper towels to dry your hands, soap, hot and cold running water, things, a hand wash sign, right? These are some basic things, right? Um, Potable water. Potable meaning you can drink it. So if you're going to be cooking with water, it needs to be water that you can safely drink. Um, a place for waste, right? Dumpster, maybe if you're using grease traps, things like that, right? Prep sinks, prep tables, all of those kinds of things need to be in that commissary space. But again, depends on where you are. But wherever you're at, you may be in a place that does not require a commissary, or they may only require a commissary depending on your menu, what type of food you're serving. Or if you're serving something that's pre-cooked, like a hot dog, right? You may not need a commissary. Okay, so you need to look into that depending on your menu concept and your area where you live and what the regulations are there. So C is for commissary. All right. It's the food truck quick start guide. What's the next thing we need to think about? O is for your operations plan. What is your plan? Okay. Someone needs to be certified in food safety, how to keep food safe, how to properly cool, reheat, cook, what temperatures are we looking for different types of food, right? Who is that person going to be? Is it you? All right. Is there going to be another supervisor or manager, or it could be a line cook even, but somebody who is certified in food safety needs to be present at all times, generally. Okay. I've not ran into a situation where that is not true. If you know of a state, province, jurisdiction in the US, and other parts of the world, I couldn't tell you. Okay, so I've only worked in the US and I'm very familiar with the US. Okay, so let me make that caveat, disclaimer as well. Speaking of disclaimers, these thoughts, feelings, business strategies are mine and mine alone and do not represent any other entity, organization, or otherwise. Okay. All right. So we're talking about how to start your mobile food business, most often called a food truck, even if it's not a truck. So I have a trailer right now. And most when people look at it, they're like, "Oh, you have a food truck." There's no engine. So technically, no, it's not a truck, but that's kind of our default. Just like when you get a ride, like if you ever use Lyft, Uber, things like that, right? Most people call them all Uber, even if they're on the Lyft app looking it up, right? That's how much space that company takes up in our mind, which is a whole different conversation about brand identity. But that's another show. All right. So C is for commissary. Do you need one? Where can you find one? Okay. O is for your operations plan. Who is going to be certified there, right? Menu development, right? What type of menu will you be serving? Um, when do you want to serve it? What hours? What days of the week? Where do you want to serve it? Okay. Are you going to team up and find create a relationship with a local brewery or hair salon, church that has my recommendation is find some place that has a population of people, right? At least 3 to 4 times bigger than where you want to start, right? So if you needed to make 20 sales a day to make your goals, I don't know what your goals are, but let's just say for training sake, hypothetically, you need to make 20 sales a day. Okay. Let's say your menu items 20 bucks a pop. I don't know, you might want to sell a $5 item, right? A $10 item, but let's just say it's $20, right? Two times two, right? 400 bucks. That's your goal for the day, right? So if I want to sell 20 plates, 20 items, I don't want to go somewhere where there are 20 people. Okay. You're not going to get everybody. Okay. As a general rule of thumb, what I've found is starting out, you may get a third until you start establishing some goodwill. People know who you are. They've tasted your food, right? Things like that. Until you get to that point, starting out, you might grab 1 out of 3. So I want to, what's 20 times 3, right? I want to go somewhere that has 60 or more people who may be hungry during the hours that I want to serve. That's just my 2 cents. You can do what you will with that. Your numbers may be slightly higher, your numbers may be slightly lower, right? But you have to figure out how to start somewhere, right? And so that's my that's what I've experienced to be true. All right, so operations, also talking about food costs, right? We're also thinking about labor. Like, is it just going to be you on a truck? Is it going to be you and your cousin, you and your husband, you and your child, you and the random stranger you found on Indeed because you need help and you don't know where else to look? Um, all of that's fine, but who's going to be there? Are they being paid? Are they doing it out of the kindness of their hearts? Right? If it's you and your significant other, maybe you're in business together, no one's taking a profit. Maybe not. Maybe it's the summertime and it's your child and they need something to do anyway. Come on, work off some of those sandwiches you and cereal that you eat all day long, right? Or maybe you want to throw them 10 bucks an hour, 12, 15. You have to factor that into your operations, right? The first S, sales tactics. Sales tactics. Okay. Who are you trying to reach? Kind of talked about that a little bit, right? Finding a larger number than what you want to actually sell. How do you want to reach them? Are you doing social media? Are you doing paid ads? Are you doing direct mailers? Are you doing door hangers? Are you knocking on doors, going door to door, announcing that you'll be there? Are you using word of mouth? Tell a friend to tell a friend, tag a friend, right? What's happening? How are you getting the word out? What are the sales tactics, right? Sales marketing tactics. Okay. When do you want to do that? Do you want to start marketing 2 weeks, a week, a month, 3 months, a quarter before you're hitting the road? Do you want to grab live footage from the actual service, right? And then use that for marketing. Lots of different ways to go there. Just pick one or pick 3. Okay. If you can, and just start. If you don't like it later, change it later. Just start somewhere. Back to that idea that we talked about in the beginning of avoiding analysis paralysis, right? Just start somewhere, right? Flyers, door hangers, go into the Target parking lot, put it on people's windshields. Okay. Don't get the police called on you like I did one time, though. Try to avoid that. I think I told that story on another episode. I'm out passing out flyers, trying to advertise. I don't know who called the people on me, but almost got into a little bit of trouble there. All right. So we're talking about how to quickly start your mobile food service business. All right. Think about commissary. That's the C. You got to pay the cost to be the boss. The C is for commissary. The O is for operations. The first S is for sales tactics. The T is for training. All right. We already talked a little bit about somebody needs to be certified in food safety, more than one person, preferably, because you want to always have somebody present. All right. And so you may not be able to be there 100% of the time, depending on your hours of operation, depending on whether you have another job or not. I mean, you might get sick, God forbid, you may, or you might just want to take a day off, vacation, and you don't want to shut your whole business down. If everything's dependent upon you, right? You want to take a vacation for a week or even a weekend getaway with an extra day, right? You don't want to have to miss money to enjoy downtime. So having somebody else who's also trained, important. All right. So training that food safety, and then also network, how to network. That's so key. Networking has literally opened doors for me that I did not know existed. Right. So it's different if you are aware of an opportunity and you go after that opportunity and you get it and you celebrate, hooray, hooray, or you don't get it and you're sad. But if you don't even know the opportunity exists, like you are not even aware to be able to go after it, that's interesting. You I heard somebody say you miss 100% of the shots you do not take, right? So if you're aware and then you shoot your shot, wow, right? And a lot of that can come through who you know, not necessarily what you know, but who you know, that knows somebody or knows of an opportunity, right? And so that is, I said one of my goals this year is to join some additional type of affiliation. So look around in your area. Is there an ACF chapter in your area, right? Um, is there an NRA? Maybe something that's been on my to-do list as well is like personal share. I don't know how to swim, but I love the water. I will jump in the water. I've gone water tubing. I've done things related to water that maybe I shouldn't have, not knowing how to swim. Now, caveat, I do know how to doggy paddle a little bit, so I can move around in the water. I can float. Okay, self-taught. but actual swimming, like no, I'm not, I can't save anybody. I was sharing this with some friends the other day. I can't save you. If we're in the water together and you're going under, I'm sorry. Telling you now, right? But I'm sharing that to say, I said that this summer one of my goals is and after I get off of here, actually jump off of this recording, I'm gonna go sign up for a swimming class. And so sometimes when you think about networking, you only think about people standing around with suits and ties and their pinky in the air and like stuffy, right? Sometimes we think of it that way. But networking really can be a lot. It can look a lot of ways, right? Anytime you join any kind of swim class, for instance, I'm going to meet people I didn't know before, and I'm going to interact with those people, and I'm going to say, "Hey, you from Charlotte?" Right? Or, how long you lived here? Not a lot of people are from here. Where are you from? What do you do? Right? I'm gonna ask questions about what brings you to an adult swimming class. I know why I'm here. I'm a Pisces. I love the water. I want to be safe. I want to be safe, but I'm on the beach, right? I want to be able to go a little bit further than just chest deep, right? Talk to people. You never know who knows somebody you need to know, or knows of an opportunity, or knows of um, an outlet for what you're trying to do. And also, if you can be helpful to that person or those people, offer your services as well. You know, if you can be helpful to them in any way. What are you struggling with right now? Is there anything I could help with? You never know, right? So networking. There's this. What's the name of that site? Oh man, I can't think of it. Hold on, let me see if I can Google it real quick. There's this site that um well, first of all, let's talk about Eventbrite. I've been on the Eventbrite kick heavy. Because we have a summer camp coming up. For those who are in the Charlotte area, you have a middle school student who needs something to do this summer. I'm gonna drop the link in that description box so that you can go ahead and get them signed up. We have a few spots left. So I just put in. There's a particular website I'm looking for, but I can't think of it or find it. That's gonna bother me till it comes back to my brain. But it's a place that people can like link and upload if they're having events, and you can sign up to go. You might know what I'm talking about. But in addition, there's other outlets as well outside of that one I'm trying to think of and can't and can't grab. It's on the tip of my brain. So Eventbrite's one. In Charlotte specifically, I just put in the search box of Google events near me. All right. So first thing that pops up is charlottesgotalot.com. All right. Eventbrite's number two. Already talked about them. Charlotteonthecheap.com. Okay. Facebook. Okay. Allevents.in. bandsintown.com, livenation.com. All right. So you can't stay stuck in the house, is my point. Even let's say you are homebound or you're not an outside person. Facebook even popped up when I talked about events, right? There's Facebook groups that you can join that gather people of similar interests or that have similar questions or that are doing a similar activity. So like I'm in an Airbnb Facebook group. I'm in a food truck, a women's food truck Facebook group. I'm in I'm in several. I'm in I used to do Turo for a hot minute. I'm still in a Turo Facebook group, right? So you can find a group that's specific to or start one that's specific to what you're interested in and connect with people. Connect with people there. Okay. So train your people how to network. Train your people because it's not just about good service, y'all. You never ever ever know exactly where an opportunity is going to come from. I can't stress that enough. And I don't know why I'm harping on this one so hard, but train your people to not only offer fantastic, hospitable service with a smile, with grace, but also part of that is asking a little bit about the person that you're serving, about them, right? Connecting with them in some way. If you train all your people to do that, yo, I can guarantee, money back guarantee you're gonna make way more than the person next to you who's just giving out great food. If you're giving out great food and great service and you're connecting with people, so much power. It's so much power in that. So train your people. All right, the last S, we're talking about food truck quick start guide. You got to pay the cost to be the boss. We talked about the C, the O, the S, the T. Costs is plural. Costs is plural. All right, it's a S on the end, and that last S is for sell. Okay. We talked about sales tactics on the first S, but you have to actually sell. Sometimes it's easier to market than it is to sell. Sometimes people get nervous, myself included, nervous to ask for money. Even with this summer camp thing, I had a discount code out. There was 50% off for so long, right? And was trying like telling people, go ahead and sign up. The code is open. It's open. Sign up, sign up, sign up. And people just procrastinated. Some of them, uh, quite a few jumped on it immediately, right? But people procrastinate and then like, I meant to do blah blah blah. All right, well now the price is such and such. I'm not gonna say the price because by the time you look at it, it might be higher. I don't know. I don't know when you're watching this, but now the price has doubled. And feeling comfortable asking for money is really just repetition. It's nothing else that has, at least not for me. If you have some other tips or tricks, please share with the community. But for me, it's repetition, doing it over and over, like being okay, being like, this is the price tag, this is what you owe. slide you that invoice, slide you that check presenter with a straight face, with eye contact, with expectation that you're going to pay as well. Um, so marketing and asking for someone to buy and then actually asking for the money are two different skill sets. That's why I separated it. It's really two different skill sets. And whoever you have at the window, and I use window figuratively, you may have a walk up to a literal window. Maybe you have one, maybe you don't. But whoever's at the window, hold on, something's happening weird with my audio. Mic check, mic check. Ugh. Can please continue to hold. Someone will be with you shortly. I don't know what's going on. All right. Whoever you have at the window, that's the first person you want to get comfortable asking for money. All right. Yes, that'll be 22.97. 22.97. People like that. Oh my god. Yep. Cash or card or tap. What you want to do? How you want it? Right? Um, it's important. Yeah. So, um, some other things I'm going to add in here somehow I'm going to connect in the future, right? So stay tuned. Um, creative financing, right? Finding the money. I got to figure out how to work that in. Again, I told y'all this is a work in progress, but um and the other thing I'm going to work in is finding your team, right? Probably with that training piece. Talk about team because um it can't I'm not going to say it can't be all on you. It can. However, if it's all on you, burnout is real. Burnout is real. Burnout comes. You have to figure out a way to have a team to do something, even if it's not cooking. All right, it could be serving. It could be the marketing. It could be It could be any. As much as you can get off of your plate. I'm a huge advocate for get it off as quickly as you can. All right. I know as owners and operators, nobody does it like you. Right? But don't make it complicated, y'all. We started off talking about complexity, right? We overcomplicate. Well, it can't run perfectly if I'm not there. Learn how to be a better leader. Learn how to train or hire somebody, right? That can be a leader and be a trainer so that you can get people trained to step into positions and step into roles. You can't if you try to do everything, you will eventually burn out. Set yourself up for success. Let me know what y'all think about the beginning seeds of this training. Food truck quick start guide. Gotta pay the cost to be the boss. Is it something else you would like to know? For those who are new to this world, um, for those who are more experienced and tuning in, hey y'all, what's up? We might need to jump on a live and talk about your experiences. All right. Um, there's a couple other things. I'm gonna hold off on these couple other things. So there's a couple other things I'm gonna figure out how to work in as we make this um a full fledged guide. Like I don't want it to be super bogged down. I want it to be easily implementable. Is implementable a word? Easily implemented. I think implementable is a word. It sounds right. Um, but again, I don't want to make it complex to the point where it's the enemy of execution. All right. We want to make this concise so people who are interested can get in, get something popping, and make it happen. And make it happen. Y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Talk to you next week.